Welcome to our Read to Lead training. In this training, we are going to discuss the benefits of Read to Lead with your students, educators, and leaders, as well as your program goals. We are also going to learn the process of creating a Read to Lead account, choosing the right fit series for your program or students, as well as how to navigate the Read to Lead Educator dashboard and working through a game in the series. I'll also show you some extra resources and project-based learning opportunities that we provide too. To get us started, let's take a look at the benefits and impact that Read to Lead offers you and your learners. We're going to look at how does Read to Lead fit into your program's goals. We're going to learn Read to Lead and its components and plan for a successful kickoff and implementation of Read to Lead. We focus on addressing the opportunity and achievement gap through access and equity. It's key to our mission and the way that we do our work. From designing our learning games and offline resources to professional development and revenue strategies, we think about this work from the lens of each of our stakeholders: students, educators, our board, donors, and foundations. When we're looking through the lens of students, we look at the diversity of characters, which is a key component to our programs. Every student sees a character that somehow connects with them, either in physical attributes, their personality, or in any other way. Every student is able to connect with our characters. We also give students the opportunity to be the boss. They're making decisions and tough problem solving. They're collecting and analyzing information, considering multiple points of view, and applying critical thinking and problem-solving skills to make tough decisions. Students are also given the opportunity to learn the language of being a boss, which fosters learning leadership, agency, voice, choice, and learning. Students are able to think critically and make real-world decisions, read 5,000 words in each episode of gameplay, write like a professional to communicate with the staff, and collaborate with their peers on meaningful projects. The gamification of our curriculum allows for a safe environment for students to make mistakes and take risks, just like they would in the regular workplace. We also have several features that help readers of all levels. We have a text-to-speech component, which allows students to listen to the text. We have a dictionary, which helps students look up definitions of unknown words. And we have Super Ed, which offers strategies for struggling students to write and answer prompts. We also have stats, which tell the students where they are in relation to their peers. The to-do list helps students keep track of their end goal and where they are in reaching that goal. We also have project-based learning opportunities, which allow students to express their voice and have ownership of their own work. We teach advocacy and students that their voice matters. Here are some examples of students who have shown and used their voice to express their feelings on different topics. Through our educator lens, educators are able to instill literacy, life, and career skills through play. They're able to adapt the program to fit their schedule and goals, access free lesson plans, projects, and pacing guides, and they're able to track their learners' progress and performance in real time. Educators are given turnkey curriculum, ongoing support, and opportunities to participate in various professional learning opportunities. We embed training for frontline staff. Literacy learning and 21st century skills are embedded, rigorous and an engaging use of technology, and a focus on youth voice, leadership, and civic engagement. We have 3 games that we offer. We have Community in Crisis, Vital Signs, and After the Storm. Community in Crisis is best fit for grades 5 and 6. Students become the director at the Common Ground Community Center, and they use critical decision-making skills, as well as serve the needs of a diverse community. Vital Signs is best suited for grades 6 through 8. The students have the opportunity to become the medical director at the Be Well Family Clinic. They provide critical patient care and run an office and tend to staff records. And lastly, After the Storm, which is most beneficial for grades 7 through 9. The students become the editor-in-chief at the community newspaper, The Daily Bite. Through this, they manage staff and make critical decisions after a devastating storm. How can Read to Lead meet the requirements of your program? Through youth voice and leadership. Youth take on the role of the boss in a virtual workplace. They must manage their staff, make decisions, and solve real-world problems. Offline, program leader resources encourage students to lead discussions on their workplace experience, their decisions that they make, and the feedback that they received in a collaborative environment. Students also are given the opportunity to participate in a service learning project that taps into their voice and passion and applies that skill that they've learned in the game environment and connect it to the real world. It's also active and engaged for all learners. From the start, youth are faced with challenges head on. They work with their staff and collect information to solve real-world problems. Youth are given the opportunity to collaborate with their team in and out of the game. And that Read to Lead encourages discussion and application of the virtual experience connecting to the real world. Students also get the opportunity to practice with skill building. Youth read and write their way through their day at work. Read to Lead is designed to core reading and writing standards, allowing youth to practice those reading, writing, and speaking and listening skills. Offline materials continue to support the reading, writing, problem-solving, decision-making, and teamwork, which also align to standards based in literacy, hands-on projects, and youth-centered discussions. Now, it's our turn to explore the dashboard and the Read to Lead resources. Now, we are ready to experience the Read to Lead website. You're going to type in your search bar www.rtlgames.org. When you do, you'll come to a screen that looks exactly like this. When you go here, you're going to click Login. You're going to click Register for an account. And create your account. You're going to select I'm an educator. Type in your email address, create a password, and select how you are going to use Read to Lead. If it's in the school day program, after school, summer school, homeschool, or in any other way. After you've created your login, you're going to type in your credentials and come into the website. At the top of your screen, you see Read to Lead in the left corner, activities, classes, reports, stats and badges, and the Help Center. You'll also see the selection of Explore by Series, which will pull up each of the series of Read to Lead games, Community in Crisis, Vital Signs, and After the Storm. Or you can choose to explore by objective. Exploring by objective gives you the option to select the series and the life or workplace skill, college and career readiness standard, or Lexile level. So you have options with how you can sort and look at each of the series that we offer. We're going to begin this training by looking at one of our series. We're going to look at vital signs. So to select the course, you are just going to click the title, Vital Signs. Upon selecting, you still have your choices at the top: activities, classes, reports, stats and badges, and help center. After we've clicked vital signs, we see this quick summary of what the game is about. Summary is, as the medical director of the Be Well Family Health Clinic, you are responsible for patient care while managing the administrative demands of running a busy clinic. Patients and staff are relying on the medical director's expertise. It gives us the starring characters, a game overview, and a sample school day pacing guide, as well as a sample out of school pacing guide. You can click on each of these tools and it will open in a file that you can utilize. With this, you're able to see an overview of each of the series, each episode within the series. We can see the episode title, the unit theme, the 21st century skill within each episode, as well as the college and career readiness standard, Lexile level, the support, moderate, and advanced Lexile levels of the assessment task, what the assessment task is for each episode, what the Quickwrite activity is for each episode. So you're given each of these tools for each episode within the series. You're also given a sample school day pacing guide. To select the pacing guide, drag your mouse over the words and click when it turns blue. In this, you are given an example of what pacing with Read to Lead games may look like. So for this pacing guide, it shows you what a vital signs lesson implementation could look like in your class. Remember, you are not tied to this. You can take it and make it the way it needs to be for you, but this is an option of what the pacing of the game use and lesson use could look like for you. Lots of the activities are connected, so you can select the activity from here, click on it, and it'll open in your drive. When we scroll down the page, we see vital signs in the left-hand corner, the episodes, as well as the unit title on the left side. So we have Unit 1, Responsibility. The episodes that fall under that category are Just Breathe, Sick and Tired, and Help Wanted. We have Unit 2, 3, and 4, all going in the same manner. Across the top, we have Games, Introductory Lessons, Enrichment Projects, and Close Reading. And looking at the Games tab, we see a quick introduction to the Just Breathe episode. We also have a preview game button. In this episode, the medical director traces the environmental factors that might be making people in the community sick. And then students must decide whether to tell Mai that the pollution from the power plant might be the underlying cause of her asthma attack. We also have the supplementary lessons, a before lesson, which can be taught in a small mini lesson type atmosphere with your students or your group of students you're working with before they play the episode of the game. In this, you can easily access the lesson plan, which has a scripted lesson you can utilize, or you can adjust the lesson as needed for how it works best for you and your students. To select the lesson, all you do is wave your mouse over lesson plan, wait till it turns blue, and click. When you do this, it'll open in your Google Drive. And viewing the lesson, you see the lesson number at the top, the title of the lesson or the episode, and the theme for which it falls under. At the top of this lesson plan, it gives you about how long the lesson will last, the lesson objective, and an essential question that students are going to have to work towards answering. The lesson plan also gives you the 21st century learning skill, the major episode challenge, any materials you'll need, any educator prep that you'll need, any vocabulary students will need to know, also some quick tech tips, and a quick snapshot of the lesson, which helps with the pacing. The lesson plan goes through prior knowledge, word working, collaborative activity, checking for understanding, and then gives you a sample of what the students will work on in that episode. It gives the educator a sample of the student activity and an idea of what students will be working for and towards during their mini lesson before playing the game. It also gives a mini answer key so that students are successful, and if you need to guide students, you have that little cheat sheet for yourself to make sure you guide them in the right ways. You're also able to access the student worksheets in this section as well. Again, you hover your mouse over the student worksheets tab. When it turns blue, click. This will give you the opportunity to make a copy for your students so that you can add it in your Google Classroom or in your Schoology Classroom or however you have your students digitally learning. You just go to File, make a copy, entire presentation, and you're able to see the same activities you pulled up in that lesson plan, but the student copy. So you're able to see exactly what your students will see and able to create a copy that you can share with them. In the educator dashboard, you then have the play section, educator guides. With this, it helps you to be able to facilitate your students' learning in the game. You have the Quickwrite graphic organizer, game answer key, and a student certification. The Quickwrite graphic organizer helps your students to be able to collect their thoughts about the Quickwrite activity that they will face in episode 1. In this graphic organizer, it tells you what the students are going to have to work to answer, and it gives them a way where they can plan out their thoughts. It gives the writing prompt and also the skill they're going to be working on with that. Then we have the game answer key. This is probably one of the most beneficial tools that we have on our website for you as the educator. It walks you through a quick overview of the lesson and skills that the students will have to work through in episode 1 or in any episode 1 through 12, the major director decision that students will be faced with, the theme of the lesson, the 21st century skills that are focused on, as well as the college and career readiness standards. It also gives you, as the educator, the to-do list that students will be working towards, as well as a quick cheat sheet to try and get down the to-do list. So it gives you the steps of how to find each of the selections on the to-do list. So to welcome Victoria, this tells you that students must speak to Victoria in the hallway. To check in on patient care, the students must speak to Marianne and Mai in the exam room. To review Brendan's research project, students must complete the assessment activity at the director's computer. To approve treatment plans with Marianne, students must speak to Marianne in the exam room again. And to discharge patients, students must complete the episode decision, which is speaking to Mai in the waiting room. If students complete each of the check marks, which means they have completed each of the skills on the right-hand side, remind students to end the episode by going to get some water in the conference room. That's a major reminder for students to remind them to go click on the water cooler to attend the final staff conference at the end of each episode. In doing that, students will be able to mark the episode as complete. In this same tool, you have the student activity that they will be asked to complete in each episode. There is a moderate level, a support level, or an advanced level. The moderate level are for students who are getting it just right on their level. For students who need a challenge, they're given an advanced activity. And for students who are struggling, they're given a support activity. You'll notice that the moderate activity, the support activity, and the advanced activity all mirror each other. The major difference is that the Lexile levels are a little different within each of the activities to best support the learners in the ways needed for them. The content is not changed, but the level of support in the reading Lexile level is different. So the moderate activity, you'll notice, is the first one we're viewing. Students select pictures, phrases, and answer activities within the assignment. Then the support activity mirrors almost exactly what the moderate activity looks like. The text level is just not as complex. Students are faced with the same decisions, the same questions, and the same selections. And for the advanced activity, the Lexile level is a little bit more challenging. Students are faced with the same decisions, same discussions, but a little stronger Lexile level. You're also given a sample of what the Quickwrite activity looks like. It shows you exactly what the student screen will look like, the questions they're being asked, and the prompt they are given. This mirrors exactly what students will see. It also gives a rubric for students to be able to utilize, which is a great tool for you. It's a pre-made rubric there that you can pull, use, and utilize with your students. It also gives examples of what exceeds the standard, meets the standard, almost reaches the standard, and does not reach the standard, which may be a great tool to show students before beginning the gameplay. And lastly, in this section, we have a student completion certificate. To access it, wave your mouse over, wait till it turns blue, and click. Upon completing the episode, students can have access to this certificate. You can print it, you could assign it in a Google Classroom or in Schoology or any other digital LMS that you may be using. It shows the achievements that the students reached, as well as certifies them in completing and utilizing their leadership, participation, and dedication in the Vital Signs game or any game in the series. And after gameplay, there's also a discussion that can take place. A lesson plan is provided, as well as student activities. To access the lesson plan, wave your mouse over the word lesson plan, wait till it turns blue, and click. Upon clicking, you're faced with a lesson plan that looks similar to the pre-lesson plan before gameplay. It gives you the episode challenge, again, the 21st century learning skills, any educator preparation you'll need, ideas for conversation starters, as well as the discussion questions and expected answers that students will respond with. It also gives a debate question, which the educator can utilize with students to help bring about strong decision-based conversation and allows for students to share their voice as well as evidence to support their voice. It also gives an example of the student activity sheet that's attached as well that students can complete or use in their discussion. To access the student worksheets, again, wave your mouse over the blue, click Student Worksheets, and you can assign this digitally to your students as well. Go to File, make a copy, Entire Presentation, and you'll be able to assign this activity to your students digitally, or you can print it, whichever is better for you. All right, you're doing great so far. We're going to keep moving forward. That is everything under the Games tab. You'll see the same layout for each of the episodes in the game. So Sick and Tired looks just like Just Breathe. You have the Before Prepare section, the Play Educator Guide section, and the After Discuss section. Another tool we also offer is the Help Center. If you're struggling with how to implement, have a question, or think you need to learn a little bit more, click Help Center. It'll open a window in your computer, and you're able to read articles that support you as the educator and help answer any questions you may have. You can also access the Help Center in this corner button right here. You're able to ask a question and get an answer from someone within Read to Lead and Classroom Inc. to help support you. The next tab we're going to go to are the Introductory Lessons. These lessons are optional lessons that you can use to implement before you begin the gameplay of Read to Lead games. You can use them with any of our series and as many or as few as you'd like. In this section, we have What Does It Take to Be the Boss? What is a Community Clinic? Problem solving and collaborative activities, as well as decision-making and collaborative activities. We also have a Meet the Characters section. This is a printable poster that you can have either digitally or you can print it out and hang it in your classroom so that students can have a visible reminder of the characters that they're meeting throughout the game. It gives a quick reminder of the character name, their job title, and what they really do within the game. So for vital signs, we have each of our characters, their job roles, and what they do. And that is a tool you have to either post in your digital classroom or your in-person classroom, whichever is best for you. To access any of these lessons, as well as the student worksheets, it's very similar to the game lessons and the episode lessons we just looked at previously. To select the lesson plan, you hover over till the link turns blue, then click. It'll open in a new window for you, and the lesson plan looks exactly like the episode lesson plans. I do recommend these lesson plans are highly engaging and really get your students focused on what it takes to be a boss, the importance of problem solving, and being an active decision maker in real world situations. The next tab is the Enrichment Projects tab. That is where we have a lot of project-based learning opportunities, which Read to Lead helps your students have a voice with. The first activity is the public service announcement activity. Students are able to look at community needs, research and evaluate local and global efforts to affect positive change, and also develop a call to action in the form of a public service announcement. To view the project plan, again, you wave your mouse over the selection, the link, wait till it turns white, and click. When you do that, you're able to select the lesson plans or student activity sheets. To select the lesson plan, wave your mouse over, turns blue, it'll open a new window, and it'll look similar to the lesson plans we've already looked at. It helps pace out the lessons for creating a public service announcement, gives you extension activities, lets you know the standards, the 21st century skills, and kind of just maps out how to successfully help your students create that public service announcement. It also gives you the student worksheets. To access those, wave your mouse over. When it turns blue, click. And you're given activities that you can utilize with your students. To create a digital copy, you go to File, Make a Copy, Entire Presentation, and you're able to assign each of these handouts to your students to use throughout the process of creating that PSA. The next opportunity for a project is the community service plan. To select this option, you just wave your mouse over View Project Plan. When it turns white, click, and you're able to do the same thing you just were able to do with the PSA. You select the lesson plan, and you're able to see the process of each of the lessons, what students will be doing in each of the lessons, and how to get to that end goal. You're also given the opportunity to get the student worksheets. Again, wave your mouse over. When it turns blue, click. And you're able to do the same as you were with the last project. Go to File, Make a Copy, Entire Presentation, and it makes an editable copy for each student in your classroom or in your program. And lastly, the most involved project is to create and design a magazine. To view this project, you just go to View Project Plan. When it turns white, click. You're able to see the project overview, the essential question, the standards it focuses on, 21st century skills, as well as each of the sessions you'll need to have a successful project creation at the end. To access the lesson plans, you'll wave your mouse over lesson plan. When it turns blue, you'll click. And again, you're given the opportunity to see each of the lessons, the skill you'll be doing in each of the lessons, the Common Core standards, and a step-by-step process of how to get to the end goal of creating that magazine. You're also given the access to student worksheets. Again, hover over. When it turns blue, click. And again, when you're ready to utilize this tool, go to File, Make a Copy, Entire Presentation, and you're able to create an editable document for each of your students, either if they're working together collaboratively or independently, and then sharing out their ideas. And the last tab that we have on the screen is the Close Reading tab. In the Close Reading section, you're given several close reading activities that you can work on with your students. You're given the lesson plans and also the text to each of these topics. So we're going to take a look at one real quick. Why do seasons affect our health? We're going to click the lesson plan. And again, it mirrors just like the other lesson plans. It lets us know about how long this activity should take, the lesson objective, the essential question, other links we can connect to, materials the educator will need, any prep work ahead of time, essential vocabulary, as well as a pacing of the lesson to help the educator map out their time and the time needed for the lesson. We also have the college and career readiness standards at the bottom. And then a walkthrough of what the lesson will look like. It gives teacher tips as well as actions to help have a successful lesson. It also gives you the opportunity to click here to access the text, which the lesson focuses on. So you could have a digital version or a printed version for each student in your classroom. All right, so we've gone through the games tab, which is where we see the actual gameplay sections, the introductory lessons, enrichment projects, and close reading activities and assignments that you can utilize. Next, we're going to take a look at the top of the screen. We have the Read to Lead tab on the left, activities, classes, reports, stats and badges, and help center. We're going to go to the classes tab. And we are going to practice creating a new class. So to input your students, you have several options. We're going to go to create new class. And we can choose to create the class name, which I'm going to put training class. We're going to select our program setting. I'm going to choose school day. We're going to select our grade and we're going to go with 6th grade. And we're going to select a subject. We're going to go with English. We're going to create new class and invite students. When we click that, we're given several options to invite students to the training class or the class that you've named. You can send an email invitation, import a class roster using the CSV template, share a code or link with your students so you can copy this URL or copy this code and share it with your class, or you can add students manually. To show you guys this part of the training, I'm just going to click Add Students. Copy the URL, choose File or Send. I'm going to copy the URL, and I'm able to take that URL and in a new window, paste that URL and join the class. When I paste that code in the URL, it gives me a "You've been invited to join Miss Edmonds' training class on Read to Lead." All the student must do is type their first name, their last name, create a username, and a password, and then click Register for an account. It'll then take students to the sign-in screen that you saw, and they'll sign in there. Once the student has joined, you're able to actively see as soon as they have signed up. If I click on my class, I'm able to invite more students. I can see the student name, their username, their password. Then I can also select if they have options for supports within the game. The text-to-speech support, the replay option, which enables students to replay an episode multiple times. This also gives students the opportunity to retake if they are not doing well on an activity. They're given that option to retake and take their time and show what they know. Text to speech gives a read aloud option where students have that support of hearing someone read the text as well as them reading it on their own. And then we have the retake option. When enabled, it gives your students the ability to replay the assessment directly without needing to replay the entire episode. So let's say a student rushed through the lesson, they didn't do well on the activity. You're giving them the option to log in, retake the assessment, and continue on their gameplay. Next, you have reports. To view your student reports, you'll go to select a class, you'll choose your class, and you'll see a roster of each of your students. You'll see if they have completed the episode of the game. It gives you a quick overview of the skills students will be working on with that and whether or not they've completed or not completed the game. You'll also select the series in which your students are playing to ensure they are on the right track. To the right, when you have students who have finished each of the games, it'll give you an S, an M, or an A. All students begin at the moderate level within a particular anchor standard. A score of 90% or higher on moderate moves students to the advanced for the next episode with the anchor standard. A score of 89% or lower on advanced moves student back to the moderate level for the next episode within the anchor standard. A score of a 79% or lower on moderate level moves students to support for the next episode within the anchor standard. A score of 91% or higher on support moves students back to moderate for the next episode within the anchor standard. So as your students finish, you will see the complete as well as their score that they received within the episode, as well as an S for support, an M for moderate, or an A for advanced. Always remember you can linger your mouse here for a reminder of what the A, the S, or the M means. You can also pull a data report for each of the Common Core standards. So in vital signs, if I'm looking at the reading standard 1, I can look at episodes 2, 4, 7, or 10. For reading standard 4, I can look at 3, 5, 8, or 11. Or for standard 7, I can look at game 1, 6, 9, or 12. So you can view your student report by each of the game episodes or by the Common Core standard. If we look back at the top, we have a Stats and Badges tab. If we look here, we're able to see the national leaders. So how many students are reading, where they're located, how many words per student, how many total words, and how many students are active. We're also able to see individual badges by class. As students reach milestones and goals, they unlock badges. This will pop up on the student screen, and you'll also be able to keep track of where your students are. And then we have the Help Center tab. Again, this is where you go if you're struggling and you need some assistance. You're able to access different articles that can help. Lastly, we're going to go back to the activities page or the activities tab. Click vital signs. And we're going to preview the game. I'm going to walk you through each component of the dashboard within the game that students will see, as well as point out some key components of Read to Lead games. So for you to access the game and kind of see what it's all about, click Preview Game. As you can see in the game, I'm already a little bit into our episode. So as you complete the episodes, you look at the to-do list. I've already welcomed Victoria. I need to check on patient care. Students are able to keep track of where they are within the episode of the game with their to-do list. To access the to-do list, they either have this tab at the top, which they can't really see the words on, but if they click their green cell phone on the left-hand side, they're able to access that to-do list and see each of the things they need to do to complete this episode. Within their cell phone, they have the to-do list, the patient file, so any important information about the patient that they've seen, the medical handbook, so if they are reading what a character has said or having a conversation and they don't know a word, they have that dictionary tool right there, as well as the glossary. In the top, they also have this flame, which helps the students see if they get stuck, kind of where options to go could be. They also have this world icon. If they click there, students are able to translate their text from over 100 different languages. So if you have a student who is not an English speaking student, they're able to pick a native language and read the text as well as hear the text in their native language. If we click this little play button with the play triangle inside, students are able to select any text with their mouse and then click the large play button at the top right of the game screen to play the text aloud. If they click the small play button, they can play the text aloud at a slower pace. A rewind button will appear next to the same small play button that allows the student to play the last text section again and again, even if the text is no longer selected. The dialogues with characters are a little bit different since they have large and small play buttons next to each dialogue response to play the entire response in one click. Finally, the rewind, large play, and small play buttons appear below for your reference. So this is the large play button, the small play button, and the rewind. And if we click the speech bubble, students are able to choose the voice they'd like to hear, either a female voice.
I'm the boss, and this is my voice.
Or a male voice.
I'm the boss, and this is my voice.
And students click Make This My Voice. To take a look at the episodes, you just click Episodes. We're going to select an episode and work through this a little bit. So at the beginning of the episode, students are given a quick briefing, the episode objective, and some encouragement to get started. So in this episode, Victoria, the new medical assistant, is excited but nervous to work with the lead physician, and they have to work together to work through the puzzle of the case of patient Grace Howard. Students have to help Victoria believe in herself enough to share her thoughts and insights on Grace's condition. So upon the first time students click the episode, they're walked through kind of a walkthrough like we were just doing. They can either choose not to see the message again or to tell me more. If I select tell me more, it continues to remind students of each of the tools they have and the opportunities they have to support them in their learning. When I go into the episode, the first thing I'm going to do is the first character I come to, I'm going to click on them and speak to each of the characters. I can translate this into a different language. So let's say I'm speaking French. I can translate the text. So this is the original text and the translated text.
Good morning. Ready to start your day?
I can also play the text aloud, or if I need it a little bit slower, I can click the small play button.
Nice to see you, Victoria. I didn't know you'd be catching me up on my to-do list this morning.
Or I can play it at a faster speed.
Nice to see you, Victoria. I didn't know you'd be catching me up on my to-do list this morning.
This is a great support for your learners who struggle with reading a little bit and need that assistance. I'm also going to click the green phone in the top left-hand corner and look at my to-do list. On my to-do list for this episode of the game, I need to find Brendan because he has some news for me, catch up with Tamid, read an email from Sasha, follow up with Grace and Victoria, and confirm patient diagnosis. So I read the text that Victoria tells me, and I choose the selection. For this conversation piece, or this piece of the conversation, I only have one selection to make, but it's important that I remind the readers to read the selection because they're going to have to make decisions based off what their conversations are about. Again, I only have one choice to select, so I choose the selection and carry on the conversation. Now, you see that there are two different options. I have to choose the best decision in response to what Victoria has said. I had to choose which selection I think is best and how I respond bases Victoria's next response. If I respond respectfully and appropriately, Victoria's response is a very appropriate response. If I select the wrong decision, Victoria may say something that is not the easiest response or a response that I would expect her to have. She's going to kind of let me know that I did not respond in the most appropriate way or the best selection, which students really seem to enjoy because it is a real life opportunity that they're given within the game. The students will continue having the conversation with the characters. And I know my next goal is to look for Brendan. If I forget, where I was going, I can go back to the character and ask, or I can investigate each of the rooms. I remember that Brendan is this character, so I go to him and have a conversation with him. So we continue to have a conversation with Brendan. We have the 2 answer choices, so we have to select whichever one is the most appropriate. I can either respond with kind of shaming Brandon a little bit or encouraging him, and that's what I'm going to go with. So because I had a positive response, Brandon's response was positive as well. And when I hear that sound, that lets me know I've marked off one choice on our to-do list. Next, I have to go catch up with Tamid. I can click on each of the rooms until I find the character I'm looking for, or typically the character will tell you your next step. I continue to have the conversations with the characters and being aware that my responses have a reaction to the characters within the game. All right, again, I'm faced with the 2 selections. I can choose to be more positive or to be kind of hurtful in what I say. The correct selection is to be a leader in building up people and not tearing them down. So I choose the correct selection. And I know that was the correct selection because of Tamid's response to me. I continue on the conversation. And he lets me know, can you keep an eye on Victoria and make sure she's doing okay? I reassure him. So then I need to go and read an email from Sasha. For that, I go to the medical director office. I see that within this section of the episode, I'm able to see different things highlight. If I click on the iPad, I am able to see the staff directory. This gives me a quick reminder of who each of the characters are, what they do, so that if I have a student who's stuck in the game, or if I myself am playing, I have a tool to go back to. And then I also can check my computer for any messages. I don't have any messages yet, and I know that's my next task, so that means I have missed a important part. The last thing Tamid told me was to check in with Victoria, and I know I saw her in the hallway, so I'm going to check on her here. I continue to have the conversation, which will lead to the assessment activity. I'm going to walk you guys through what the assessment activity will look like, and how that process will look for you. I have been directed towards Sasha, who is the next character in the game. And she tells me of an issue she's having and a way she needs my help. This will let you know you're on the right track to getting to the assessment within the game, because that is how you're going to help the characters. Students are given the assessment as a way to help the characters throughout each of the episodes of the game. Again, you read and have the conversation with the characters. She also lets me know she needs my help and can she send me an email with an article to look over. I respond with, of course, email me whatever you want me to look at. And that lets me know my next step is to go and check my email. The little whistle sound means that I have received an email, and I've also gotten the patient file. I can find a lot of the patient information, the complaint she's having, the test results, and also possible diagnoses. I go out, I go to the medical director office, and I see the message from Sasha. She states, here's the article about the stress I mentioned. I want to pull out the most important parts to share with Grace. Can I highlight the main ideas, supporting details, and less important details? So here, students are faced with highlighting sentences and using the following color-coded activity. So one sentence that best gets the message across. All right, and then things that support that. And then after highlighting, students are given that second chance to correct their work. So I see here, I didn't even get the key message of the text correct. So students are given the opportunity to go back in and erase their selection if it wasn't correct. I go, highlight the important pieces and make a selection. And then see if I got it correct or incorrect. I hit OK. And then Sasha asked me another piece of the task to complete. I followed through with what she asked. And it takes me to the Quickwrite response. Students are able to mark off the checklist how they get their answers or as they get their work complete. They also have some material on the side to help them in their responses. And that is pretty much how the episode goes. They continue on. After students complete the Quickwrite, it will mark off on the to-do list the read email to Sasha. Then they will follow up with Grace and Victoria and then confirm the diagnoses. And that is about all. To sign out of the Read to Lead website, you just click the person tab and you are signed out. Thank you for attending this training. And if you have any further questions, remember we have the chat feature and also all the self-help tools within the game or within the series and the website. We look forward to you guys learning with us and know that we are always here to support.